Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of Watch Me Wrench. In the last video, you saw that I had a new fast 102 millimeter intake manifold along with a Nick Williams 103 millimeter throttle body and a Grip Tech pulley for the supercharger. I did order some more parts. I do have more parts coming. So let's start tearing the car apart. Let's do a cold start. We may never hear this engine, this particular setup running again, so let's just hear it. Maybe we could do a comparison if we do make a lot of changes, but we'll see. We'll talk about that later. So let me get it uncovered and let's fire it up. I'll be back. Alright guys, so here we go. Let's start taking things apart. I guess the first thing I'll do is take this charge pipe off, disconnect this meth line, this electrical connection here, this one over here, take the boot off, take the throttle body off, take these coil covers off, take this stuff off, probably disconnect the fuel line here. Try to lift the manifold off with the fuel rails intact and everything. Alright, so I'll start over there. This is a real pain to take off because the bolt is deep down in there and you can only get like a quarter of a turn at a time. So that's going to take like literally 20 minutes to undo that one bolt. Oh well. Alright, let me get to it. I'll be back. Alright, so I got the charge pipe off, disconnected the two electrical lines, disconnected the meth line. I just took the air cleaner out here, the intake pipe and the air cleaner, and then I got this bolt down through here. Alright, now we'll get the throttle body off, and then we'll work our way back to the intake manifold. Take some of this stuff off. Alright, I'll be back. Alright, we got the throttle body off. It's just 4 10 millimeter bolts on an electrical connection here. And now let's prepare to take the intake manifold off. Alright, I'll be back. Alright, so I got the coil covers off. I decided I'm going to remove the coil packs, even though it's not necessary to pull the intake manifold off. And then I'm just going to remove most of these lines. I'm going to remove as much as I can just to give myself as much room as possible, make it a little easier. Removing the coil packs literally takes 2 minutes. Alright, so let me get to it. Let me start clearing some of this stuff off the top of the motor, and I'll be back. Alright guys, welcome back. So it's several days later since my last clip. I'm always getting pulled away. This is why these projects take me so damn long. So I got the coil covers off, the coil covers, the coil packs. I want to remove fuel lines. On the stock fuel rail there is a Schrader valve. I believe it's on that side. Yeah, I think it's on the driver's side, don't quote me, but you could relieve the fuel pressure through there. With this system I have, with this setup, I don't have a way to relieve the fuel pressure, so I will crack one of the lines ever so slightly, back it off slightly just until I hear or see some fuel coming out. I'll put some pig mat under to catch it. I think I'll disconnect the fuel line over there, maybe back here. That was really hard to get to over there. And pull the fuel line out. I want to leave the fuel rails and fuel injector intact, but I don't know if I'll have enough room, if the fuel rails will hit the underneath of the cowl here. I'll probably remove my catch can, my LG Motorsports catch can, and I might change my catch can setup. Because I run E85 makes a lot of condensation, and when you have the dry sump Corvette motors, there's no, the PCV system is sealed. There's no venting to the atmosphere. So all that heat, all that steam, all that moisture just builds up. So what I normally do is after I drive the car and I come back home, I undo the oil cap and I let it vent there, and then I also take my homemade catch can, oil catch can, that little thing off. And when you run E85, you have to change your oil regularly because you'll see that the oil will get contaminated with some fuel. So if you run E85, you have to change your oil frequently. So before I started this teardown, I did change the oil. I pumped out all of the E85. I just put 93 in there. I even took the meth out, pumped it out, and I just put some windshield washer fluid in there in its place. Meth is very corrosive. And another thing I'm probably going to have to do, I'm probably going to have to take out the meth pump and send it out to get rebuilt, because they say it's supposed to get rebuilt like every 2 years. And I've had it for like 3 or 4 now. And I've never had it rebuilt, so I'll probably do that as well. And here's that little catch can. So here's some residual moisture that you could see from the remnants of the E85, or whatever is left in the system. See the little bit of moisture? Now, why I might change my oil catch can, I don't get any oil in there. I don't get blow-by. I only get condensation there. So I don't get any oil there. I don't get any oil there. I will get, once in a while, a little bit of condensation in there. But when I started disconnecting some of these PCV lines, like literally like a little bit of water, a little bit of condensation dripped out. Let me try to focus. You can see it's wet in there. See, my finger's wet. It's not oil, it's just moisture. No, the car doesn't have a blown head gasket or cracked block. It's not antifreeze. It's just condensation. So, I believe the Mighty Mouse catch can setup for these motors, for these cars, it has an air filter. I think it's somewhere over here that lets that steam vent out to the atmosphere. And hopefully that should reduce the condensation. I will have to look into it. Let's take this off. This is hidden by the coil cover. Let's see if there's a little bit of condensation under here. Oh yeah, there is, see? Now this I never get to take off because it's covered by the coil covers. Yeah, I don't like that. So this is why you got to change your oil frequently. Son of a gun. Alright, so yeah, I'm definitely going to look into a better catch can setup. I don't know if the Mighty Mouse one will resolve this. I'll have to do research, but I probably will change this catch can setup that I have. Alright, let me try to get this fuel line off so then I can get the rest of this line off, which is blocked back there. Got to make some room so I can see what I'm doing. Alright, I'll be back. Alright guys, so welcome back. So I got the fuel line off. I disconnected it from there, and then it ran around, came all the way back to here. A lot of fuel in there, a lot of fuel. None of it came shooting out. I just cracked that line very gently. There really wasn't any pressure. And then I cracked this line over here in the corner, right there. A lot of fuel coming out. Anytime I disconnected a line, lots of fuel coming out. Made a mess. More than I anticipated. So, I'd like to get all this crap off. These vent lines. The crankcase vent lines. But they're really hard to get off. And I remember when I did the heads and cam, I had the whole top half of the motor, but I had this crap still here. It was always in the way. And it's because I couldn't, let me show you. I couldn't get it off right there. And I still can't get it off right there. Plus, there's so much crap here now, I can't even get to it. But I was struggling with it for like 20 minutes, and I just can't get it to separate. So, I'll have to leave this there for now. I was hoping to take it off so I have more room to pull the manifold out. So I think I'll work on taking the bolts off now. There is a torque sequence you have to follow. Don't just take them off. When you're mounting, when you're installing the intake manifold, you basically start from the inside and work your way outwards. But now that we're going to be taking it off, we're going to start from the outside, work our way inwards, like that. I've shown how to do this before. I don't want to get into it too much. That stuff really slows me down. If you're wondering how to install or remove the intake manifold, please watch one of my earlier videos. I even have like a chart for you guys to follow. So I'm going to work on that now, and then maybe we should be able to pull it off. One thing I did, I started rushing into this, and the first thing you got to do is you want to blow off the top of the motor, because there was a lot of sand and a lot of leaves and other little debris there. And I rushed into it. I just started taking the car apart, opened up all the lines, and then I was like, oh shoot, I forgot to blow out all the debris. So then I wound up having to plug up everything that was open. I just didn't want the debris going into the fuel system. So blow the top of the motor off first before you do a job like this. Don't rush into it like I did. Alright, let me work on the manifold bolts. Hopefully the next clip I'll have it off and on the bench. Alright, I'll be back. So it's many hours later and the manifold's still sitting there. I had to walk away because I was getting pissed off. After you undo the bolts, don't think you're just going to slide the damn thing forward like you would on a normal car. This is a Corvette, and they fight you every damn step of the way. So you got to try to pick up the manifold, push the front a little towards the driver's side so you can get back there. Let's see if I can get there. Well, just trust me, the brake booster vacuum line goes to the back of the manifold, then there's another vacuum line. And the oil pressure sending unit's in the way. You can't just pull it forward. Problem is I can't get my hand back there to undo it because of the steam vent line, that right there. And I can't get a wrench in there. I can't get my hand in there. Oh. Let me try to show you guys what's happening. Give me a second. Alright. I got the manifold up and over. Wedge that roll under there. It'll keep it up. Maybe you could see now. So there's one vacuum line, the small one. Then you got the big one. And that damn sensor with that little blue clip on top. So, can't get my hand back there. Oh, I can't get a tool to undo this to give me the clearance. Oh my God. I hadn't worked on this car for a while, and I had forgotten what a bitch this is to try to do. If you watch my first video before I had these secondary fuel system and these fuel rails, I had trouble taking the manifold on and off, but not like this. Alright, I'll be back. Let me see if I can get it off. Voila, I got it off. I just got really pissed, grabbed it, and pulled the shit out of it. because that damn thing is in the way. So both those vacuum lines were behind it, and that big brake booster one is so thick you can't pull it, you know, this way. So I just pulled, even though I was trying to, then I was just trying to pull it out this way. It just didn't want to come. It was just like wedged and pinched in there. And there was literally nothing holding it. So I see a little bit of oil residue on the bottom there. They all have it. I guess we do get a little bit of blow-by. I don't know if upgrading to like a Mighty Mouse catch can setup is going to help. That one I see it just like taps into here, then goes to the can over here, and then goes into the intake manifold. Now, and you plug up this one, apparently. So steam and moisture is going to rise probably to the highest point. So I assume that'll be right here. And this is the highest point of the motor. So from there you can let it vent out to the atmosphere. So that should alleviate the condensation buildup, or help alleviate it. So let me get this cleaned up, and then the next thing I have to do is change out these bolts. Well, actually, yeah. I'll have to change out these bolts, because apparently the LSXR manifold sits a little lower and it comes with low profile bolts, so I'll have to change those out. Let me vacuum this up and get this cleaned up, and I'll be back. So here's the stock intake manifold we just removed. I'm probably going to have to go with the fast fuel rails. The Holley ones are a little longer, apparently. And the Speed Shop, they wanted to make, the last time I took it there before we did the dyno, they wanted to make this a return style fuel system. So they actually like machined some off the back, because the firewall's right here. So in order to do this, I had to machine the back of this down a little, take a 90-degree elbow, cut one end off, and then weld it to there, to the back. And that's how we made our return style system. Well, because the firewall is right there. So nobody could tell me if, I mean, the fuel rail and the fuel injectors will work, but nobody knows if the spacers, which I got from K-Tech, that right there and that one right there, are the right or the proper, will give me the proper height. So since no one can tell me, and just for the sake of moving this project along, I'll just order the fast fuel rails and use their spacers. I probably will have to upgrade the injectors. I'm not sure yet. I believe these were at 85% injector pulse rate. The last time I was at the dyno, so they're kind of almost maxed out. These are ID 1000 Injector Dynamics 1000 cc injectors. Let's take a look inside the manifold. You can see it's a little wet, so we are getting some oil in there. Oil or condensation. That's very minimal. Very little. I feel a little bit right there. Yeah, right by that post on the floor there was some. So there's a little bit wet back there, a little bit oily. So let's see if we can work on this blow-by issue. Alright, let me clean that area up and I'll be back. Alright, so I think I'm just going to end this video here. No need to show me cleaning that. Yeah, that's it. Alright guys, so thanks for watching. Hopefully the next video we'll get the fast intake manifold and throttle body on there. Well, first I have to just test fit and make sure I have clearance. Alright, so that's it. I'll be back. Thanks for watching, and be safe out there, guys.